This flashback continues to shock every One Piece manga fan as it yet again deviates from what the flashback should be all about. I mean, we came into this backstory thinking it was gonna be about Loki, Haraldin, and Harald, their father, and how he died. And now it's about Roger, GARP, Rocks D XEBEC, Whitebeard, Emu, and now the Kuja pirates. Yeah, and One Piece fans, please don't get me wrong. I'm all in love with this. I'm not frustrated at all. I'm not angry. No. I'm loving this. I'm really loving this. Okay? Yes. But listen, guys, if you don't want to hear anything about the previous chapter 1156, just go right ahead and skip to my part where I talk about the next chapter, okay? But right now, let's take it one chapter at a time because I missed 1 week. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, chapter 1156, titled Simps. Oh, I meant idols. Sorry. We started off the chapter in a completely different place from where we were last time. And as I always say, every time the narrator says something, you bet it's gonna be important. He said, back in those days, certain idols roamed the seas. So I was thinking, maybe this was even before the Yonko system started. Anyway, there's a group back on those days that even the Marines could not oppose. They were known as the Kuja pirates. I was like, yo, what? Huh? Really? Are we finally getting some interesting lore about the former empresses of Amazon Lily? And Oda's like, boom, one empress, boom, second empress, boom, third. What's going on? 3 empresses in 1 chapter. In fact, in like 3 panels. But wait. Let's stop glazing for a second because I'm too hyped. Literally too hyped. So I'm gonna stop glazing, and it's so hot in here. It's not because of the Kuja pirates, I swear to God. It's literally 29 degrees, but let's be a little bit more professional. The first empress we see is Gloriosa in this chapter. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Really, I mean, seeing Gloriosa in her younger days, having this beautiful long hair and physique and a charming woman, and like everything about Gloriosa in her prime is amazingly beautiful. And when you take a look at what happened to her now, I mean, oh my God, what has happened? The mighty has fallen, everybody has fallen, what the heck, bro? But I might have an explanation for that a little bit later in the video, so don't have a short attention span like 98% of the other people in this freaking world, and continue watching because there's a lot of interesting things I'm gonna bring up. But really, what happened to Gloriosa? I mean, old age has its meanings, and oftentimes it nerfs some of these characters that we all love. And also some may say it nerfs their looks, but I say that's not the entire story. You see, in this chapter we get shown the future Empress Tritoma, who I also in fact find very interesting and fascinating. And if you want to know more about my speculations on her, just follow me on Instagram and on X. But you see, Tritoma is handing out a bunch of fan letters to Gloriosa, alright? Because they were known as idols, these Kuja pirates, I mean, for real. So Tritoma is handing out a bunch of fan letters to Gloriosa, her captain. And Gloriosa's like, wait, are these it? Like, what do you mean? Like, what about all of the other letters over there? And we get to see a giant pile of fan letters sitting on the deck. And in my initial reaction, I was like, who the heck are these for? Like, what? There's like 100 or 200 times more than what Gloriosa had. Who could possibly overshadow their captain like that? Well, yeah. Right up in the next panel, we get shown the person that overshadowed the captain, and her name is Shakuyaki. And I'm just gonna call her Shaki because it's gonna be a little bit weird Shakuyaki in this video. So I'm gonna call her Shaki, just like they said in the anime when we first met her over at Sabaody. But you see, Shaki, the first mate of the Kuja pirates, is very special. Her beauty swept every man in her path, including the king of the pirates. Today is the day we finally take her from you. We're going to make Shaki a part of our crew. That's Roger speaking. And trust me, guys, like, he doesn't want to recruit Shaki. He basically wants to kidnap her, bro. Like, he wants to force her to join his crew and force her to stick around with them, doing God knows what. And trust me, guys, Roger doesn't want to take her for her combat abilities or her cooking skills. He obviously fell in love with her beauty. You see, the pirate king is a total simp. He is thirsty to make Shaki his partner. I don't know, guys, like, could you ever imagine Luffy doing something like this? I don't know, you tell me, but I bet Roger's stocks are really down after this chapter. Her entire crew simped for Shaki. They were so jealous of Roger because he got to see the good stuff, you know? He was lying down there and she was on top of him. Yes, she was. Not on that sense, you dirty bastards. Not in that sense. But yeah. He saw everything basically. But like I said, his entire crew simped except for the Dark King, man. You see, really, he doesn't really give a fuck. He had to be really focused on his goal to pass up a beauty like her. But yeah, fortunately for Rayleigh, I mean, yeah, the gods love him, and yeah, he didn't simp, so he got the lady eventually. I don't know when he got the lady, but yeah, he got the lady, man. And yeah, she becomes his wife basically later on. And I know it's not confirmed. Oh, there's a bunch of people gonna come at me like, oh, it's not confirmed that Shaki is Rayleigh's wife. They're just buddy. Shut the hell up. She's his wife, okay? Let's move on. But like I said, the funny thing is that Rayleigh is the only one that didn't simp. And the only one that got with that beautiful woman. I mean, lesson of the day, guys, and I'm being pretty serious here. You do not simp. It literally devalues your existence. But going back to Gloriosa's downfall, I might have an explanation for that. I mean, when you look at Gloriosa at her younger days and look at her now, it's like night and day. It's like she fell off the moon into the bottom of the sea. I mean, I don't know. It's total insanity how f***ed up she looks now. And some of this obviously has to do with her old age, but most of it has to do with another thing. You see, Gloriosa's dream was to be with the man Goldie Roger. And we know how that turned out. I mean, yeah, he completely disregarded Gloriosa, running and thirsting all over Shaki. But you see, in the One Piece story, the despair of not achieving your dream takes its toll pretty heavily on that person's body. And we can also see that with the failed futures of some of the One Piece characters that Oda drew. He drew a good future timeline and a bad future timeline. And always in the bad future timeline, the character looks all soggy, looks messed up because he didn't achieve his dream. And what I mean is, they look awfully similar to Gloriosa's downfall, as well as characters like Big Mom, Shinobu, and Buckingham Stussy. But Shaki, on the other hand, she lived her happily ever after with Rayleigh. They were a perfect match, a perfect bang, and hopefully didn't forget to bang each other on the couch over at Sobaodi Bar. But back to the chapter. At exactly the same time as Roger was trying to kidnap Shaki, unfortunately or fortunately for him, depending on how you see it, his arch rival GARP shows up, making him forget about the sword in his pants, remember the sword in his hands. We get kind of a fan service clash between the two legends. I mean, it was kind of comedic as well because you had these funny faces, but you saw the Conqueror's haki roaring all over the place. Yeah, that was a great moment. You see, of course, this was not everything that happened this chapter. I really like the stuff over on Elbaf, Loki, Haradin, near Ida's tavern, dynamics of Harald's family all together, how they treat each other, how they talk to each other, how Ida is such a lovely mother. She takes good care of them and she understands what they feel. But this really makes me think that there had to be actually a bulletproof reason for Loki to kill his own father. I mean, I just don't see it at this point. Like, they're friendly with each other, all of them now. Even like, I know Haradin and Loki are going at it sometimes, but they're brothers, like that's normal. But they're all friendly, so, and you can tell that Loki loves his father, of course. So why? How did he kill his father? We don't know. Of course, you can leave your speculations in the comments below, and I will shout you out next video. I also love the introduction of the Rocks pirates over at Hachinosu. How it was Rocks originally that busted up these two holes on the giant skull of the island. I love how everybody got their time to shine. Big Mom, Captain John, Whitebeard, Shaki, freaking Strusen, bro. Who remembers that guy? Freaking Strusen, alright? And I especially enjoyed the pirate rookie, the 15-year-old brat, Kaido, who thinks he's already a beast. The man that we suffered so much against. The man that we lost against time and time and time again. Takes Rock's shoe to his face the first time he opens his mouth about anything. I mean, he was basically saying, Rocks, if you want Harald to join you so much, do it by force. Let's do it by force. Boom! Gets booted. Like, hey, you do not talk like that about my pal. Harald is my pal and he's a legendary warrior. Never, ever talk like that about him, or I will kick your ass first. Bro, guys, I don't know what pure evil. No, for real. What pure evil can call somebody else a friend? A legit friend. That he feels that he had to intervene with what Kaido was saying because it was disrespectful to Harald. That doesn't seem to me as fully evil. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is, of course, character development for Rocks, but it shows you also more about Kaido, about how he was when he was a little kid. And yeah, I thought that was hilarious, bro. The character that we suffered so much against. We were at Wano for like over 4 years because of that guy, and now he just gets booted like that. It was so funny, bro. Like, it just shows you how great of a deal Rocks was back in the days. Yeah, guys, I know I have a stain here. I'm drinking water and I spilled some. Deal with it. One Piece chapter 1157, titled The Legendary Bard. So after a couple of chapters, we finally see the continuation of the cover story. The grave of the hero that was born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo over at Wano. He died protecting the village from Kaido, not leaving a single part of his body left behind. So the question is he still alive? I mean, if they didn't find anybody, like, he's gotta be alive. This is One Piece. We don't like to kill characters, so maybe, but I just don't see why we should bring that legend back. I mean, what context does he bring to the story? I don't know. I just don't know. But you see, this chapter smashes the people that thought it was Shiki. I mean, for God's sake, aren't you glad we're getting more of Shiki now with the Rocks pirates and everything? And yeah, he's having some dialogue. And why does everything have to be about Shiki, bro? I mean, why? Every theory, every silhouetted character, every mystery, like, this guy's behind it, bro. This guy is even bigger than Rocks. He's the agenda of the One Piece community, bro. Like, if you have a theory, I mean, Shiki's gotta be in it. Otherwise, it's not a One Piece theory. I'm just saying. I mean, for God's sake, how the hell are you associating Shiki with a hero? Like, I mean, what about Shiki speaks hero to you? Haven't you seen Strong World? I know it's basically not canon, but it was written by Oda, and it was Oda's character, so I mean, what the f, man? The man is clearly all for himself, as we see in this chapter, where he tries to bury basically Kyo the Wicked, Kaido, and Whitebeard all together underground. We'll come back to that. But okay, let's leave the cover story behind, because when I tell you that this chapter is an atomic bomb, I'm not over-exaggerating, bro. Foot Colony, Temple of the Philanthropy Federation. And I'm like, excuse me? Since when did they have that? An international philanthropy federation? I mean, the world government doesn't give a about you and me and everybody, bro. They don't even give a about their sojos, man. They're gonna have a philanthropy federation helping out people and stuff. What is this dog shit? And we haven't ever heard about this. Well, technically, I know why we haven't heard about this. Well, it's because Newgate used his quake powers to do a bunch of earthquakes because he was getting buried alive downstairs because of Shaki. Shaki throws the bomb inside when Kaido, Newgate, and Kyo the Wicked are down there, so they had to escape somehow, and it gotta be Whitebeard, you know. His power is pretty amazing. Even Kaido says it in this chapter, and we get, of course, like, for the good character Whitebeard is, he gives some advice to Kaido. He's like, yo, choose your one wisely. Like, if you're gonna have a power, choose that one wisely, because you're gonna stick with it the entire length of your lifetime. And it's basically a little bit of a character shift from the Kaido we know now, because he's all about haki, you know. He loves haki. You had this big speech against Gear 5 Luffy about haki is the strongest and everything. But back in the days, he was astonished by devil fruit powers. But let's roll it back a little bit. So the Rogue's pirates are there to loot everything, basically. They want the treasure. Everyone. Barbell, Lin, Ochoku, and many more. But Newgate, Kaido, Kyo the Wicked, and a couple of others were still down in the basement. They were still like looting up some stuff. They want the money, they want the treasure. Of course, we're pirates. We're doing pirate things. We kind of not used to this in this anime, in this manga. Yeah, we're not used to pirates being pirates. We're always kind of used to pirates being kind. Mainly because of the Straw Hats. I mean, there are a lot of pirates that are pretty shitty. The Flamingo pirates, the Beast pirates, they were pretty shitty as well. So yeah, but because we are with the Straw Hats a lot, that's why we don't feel like we see them do a lot of piratey things. Anyways, we continue. So as this group is in the basement, Shaki the bastard decides, well, if we take them out, we'll get a bigger haul. Yes. But of course, what is more stupid about Shaki doing this is that he knows all about Whitebeard's powers. He knows Whitebeard can easily escape such a, I don't know what to call that. Is it even an attack? It's just a bomb, bro. Like, when has a bomb ever worked in the world of One Piece, bro?
Hey, look, apples!
I don't think it has. No, listen, I like Shaki. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on him. He's just this type of character. You hate like him. He's funny, but he's a bastard, and you like him, but you kind of don't like him as well. We have the same example with Caesar Clown. We have a lot of different examples in other anime, alright? We have Mayuri Kuritsuchi from Bleach, and we also have Frieza, the original one of these characters. Me and my brother call this type of a character a Frieza type character. The strong bastard who comes up with these insanely stupid ideas, and when he's down at his knees, he always begging for mercy, like Caesar Clown. When Luffy was about to punch his ass through the ground, he's like, no, we should maybe reconsider, bro. Like, you can join me, you can be under my flag. Like, what, bro? And that's pretty funny, and I thought the whole thing with Shaki this episode was hilarious, alright? I'm not hating, I just think it was so darn funny and so darn stupid. Rox is screaming, hey, stop the fucking infighting, get your head straight. We should already have set sail from this place. The Navy's gonna be here, like, what are you guys doing? And Rox is standing on the edge of the island, looking over at sea, seeing the marine ships coming in, and he's not alone though. He's not alone. We get a cool shot of him and Captain John standing next to each other, and Captain John being like overly mature and overly observant of everything that's going around. Like, I wonder when he died. Do we have a record for when he died? Like, how did he die? I want to know more about this guy. He intrigues me. No, for real. His treasure intrigues me. I don't think it's all about like normal treasure. I think it has a different type of meaning. But yeah, this This flashback is making me go crazy, guys. But yeah, Captain John for me really felt like a right-hand type of character, especially these two panels, like him standing there with rocks, looking over at every marine ship and being completely ready. And even the panel before that, he was notifying rocks as well about the marines coming and everything. Like in the previous chapter, he didn't feel that important. He had a couple of lines, yes, but these two panels right here, I don't know, it just brought his stocks up for me. But the fighting begins once again, and Rocks was inevitable, bro. His fame, his power, his crew. I mean, he was the threat. In 2 years' time, the narrator says 16 documented raids, 76 sunken marine ships, 14 ports reduced to ash, 5 towns wiped out, 1 nation brought to ruin, 3 violations of Article 18 of international law. And pause for that because we have no idea what the Article 18 of international law is. I mean, I really want to know. I'm really curious about this because this gotta be something important and we haven't really touched on such stuff before, so it's gonna be interesting finding more about this. And last but not least, 25 criminal records erased, even with the future pirate king and the marine hero roaming the seas. This was the era of Rocks. By the way, you thought the chapter was over? No, the chapter is not over, bro. I mean, how? How does he manage to put so much detail like these tiny ass chapters? It's crazy for me. This guy's a genius. He does fuck up from time to time, but we're human. I think he fucked up Wano. I mean, I think he deviated, but that's neither here nor there. Let's continue the chapter. Enishi Island, New World. The government is of course against Harald being in this country. They have just deemed this country as lawless. Therefore, in their minds, these people have no human rights. It's just like Greenbull, bro. Like when Greenbull was over at Wano, he said this is a lawless country. These people have no rights. That's why I should burn them to the ground. Like, good job, f***ing Admiral. You're supposed to be here freaking protecting me, you son of a bitch. No, you just want to protect those bastards over there at Marie Joie. Damn, I get really angry when these types of characters show up. When the Akainu Ultimate Justice shows up, I really hate these characters and I really want them to be punched really hard with extreme Conqueror's Haki. But yeah, in the Navy's eyes, these guys are nothing more than insects. They're not affiliated with us anymore. They're lawless. Let's just kill them. Or in fact, let's just play with them, huh? Let's play with them. But you see, this island is not just a random island over at the New World. This is the island where Harald met Ida for the first time, and that's when his life changed completely. That's when he started to pursue happiness. He started pursuing the welfare of others. Welfare is the right word here, I don't know. He started pursuing deals with other countries, starting to understand more about these creatures, so-called human, and he's an ancient giant, of course. So they're pretty different from one another. And of course, there are gonna be differences because of race, because of culture, because of whatever. But he really understands what it means. He really understands now that he had met Ida and went on his journey and became better. He really understands human emotions. And he really understands that as long as we can be peaceful with one another, protect one another, there is no reason I should try to harm you. And when he sees that these bastards from the world government basically try to kill their own kind like this just because they're not affiliated with a company, the government basically, they're basically a company. He's been trying to get affiliated with the world government himself. So does that mean that Elbaf is a lawless country? Should we kill all the giants from Elbaf? I mean, it's basically the same thing. And then my guy Harald, bro, he looks looks at this guy from the world government, this agent, and he is in true, I don't know, he is furious, man. I mean, I'm so emotional about this, like, I can't even speak, but by the way, guys, I'm following the script right here, so yeah, I can't even speak, bro. Like, Harald is so angry at this world government agent. He's terrifying to look at. He's mad, he's furious, and he's like, no, you, man, you are not even human. Let's take a second for that. The ancient giant that 60 years ago was going around destroying everything and then met his first wife or first lady on Enishi Island and changed the entire course of his life and became better and had kids and tried to protect his country and tried to protect other allied countries with Elbaf and tried to protect human nature, tried to protect, I don't know, like the society basically. He tried to make society better. As long as we can deal with each other, everything's gonna be fine. This man, he says that the world government, they're not human. Oh my god, what a moment. What a moment, bro. I don't know if people agree with me. This moment hits so fucking hard. And then right after that, bro jumps from his ship, slams his sword on the world government ship, bro. This is the first time he defied them, for real. Because he was trying to join up with them. And then you might think, like, Harald, come on, go be a pirate, bro. No, he's like, no, all about diplomacy, all about understanding one another, all about connections. In his mind, and because of the conversation later at the bar with the rocks, in Harald's mind, why should I go against the world government in such massive sense? Okay, he destroyed a ship. Yes, he defied them technically, but he doesn't want to defy all the world government. He still wants peace with them and he still wants to cooperate with them. I don't know if I'm making any sense, bro, but yeah, he still wants to be connected to them and he thinks that he can change them from the inside. He wants more giants, like John the Giant. He wants more giants to join so they can help change the world government. I don't know how powerful they could be changing the world government like that. I mean, the world government started getting stronger and stronger after these events, of course, but they're still not at full power. I don't know how giants will help. Maybe. I don't know how that plan went. I mean, Saul wasn't from Elbaf, so that doesn't count. John the Giant, I can't really think of another giant that was like introduced, really. It wasn't a fodder character in the Marines. Anyway, let's move on. But going back to the incident over at Enishi Island, King Harald was exposed by the media. The King of Elbaf exposed, sinking innocent marine battleships. The alliance with the world government is revealed to be a ploy. That was the headlines on the World Economic Journal that time. But hold on a minute. The World Economic Journal. Big news, right? Big news Morgans? What? I mean, was he born back then? He's 53 years old now. This was 42 years ago. So how old was he? Am I doing the math right? Like, was he 11? How is that possible? It's gotta be somebody else, right? It's gotta be somebody else. Morgan seems to be not the type to go along fully with the world government and not go along fully with the pirates. He kind of has his own path, but this right here, it seems like it's, I don't know, it's like a machine exactly like his are working for the world government basically. So I mean, this is the headlines. The King of Elbaf exposed, sinks battleships, the alliance of the world government revealed as a ploy. That's what it says. So yeah, I mean, that's more direct. Like, you should, that's not objective, it's subjective, as we say. So we go over at the Navy HQ and there's an interesting conversation between a few interesting characters. They say if a giant were to roll over in their sleep, it could crush many people. I mean, I get the logic, but couldn't you just like put the giants in another room, let them sleep over there, not near the humans, so they can roll over where they want? I mean, that sounds like a stupid argument. Yeah, very stupid. But yeah, I basically solved your problem right there in 2 seconds. But no. The world government cannot coexist with such futile creatures? Only if they're our soldiers, though, then welcome aboard. I still don't care about you, but welcome aboard. I will feed you, I will give you everything, and I will sacrifice your life like I sacrifice a freaking pawn in a chess game. But this conversation is between GARP, Sengoku, Otsuru, and the main man himself. The main man himself, the main man of the power scaling system. The main man, Kong. The guy that everybody likes to suck off for no reason. We have literally not seen him in a single fight. I can count the amount of times we've seen this character in one hand. I swear to God, if it's more than 5 times, if it's more than 5 different occasions that we've seen this character, I'll do what the comments say. I'll do what the top comment says, okay? Maybe you don't even comment, so I'm glad for that. But swear to God, more than 5? No, not a chance. And why does the fan base like to suck him off? I don't know. Let's continue. So Kong is telling them, you're making good points, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, you're making good points. Like, it's good points. Like, of course it's good points that this argument about the giants rolling over and crushing people is not valid. You're making good point here, GARP. Very good, yes. You speaking very, very nice, and you care about giants as well, but it is what it is. Yes. Who cares? It is what it is. Nobody cares. Yes. I mean, guys, what the man? And I'm so tired about hearing these theories about Kong trying to save the world government from the inside. And no, he's a good guy. You! He's not a good guy. Bro, he's a literal cunt. I mean, he's like, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is, though. Kong, he can't deny the Giants' violent tracking record. He can't deny it. He can't deny the track record that Harald has been trying to change for over 40 years now. This motherfucker is a dog. This motherfucker is just like Kizaru. Except Kizaru, he has his emotions and he chooses not to act on them. But this guy, he doesn't feel a thing. He's like, okay, we're gonna kill some giants? Who the gives a shit? I'm the Marine head captain. I'm a Marine admiral. I'm a Marine chief. I'm a Marine blah blah blah. I'm sitting over here. I'm getting paid. That's it. That's all I care about. No emotions whatsoever. 42 years ago at Hachinosu, great news broke out. News that shocked the entire world. The world-renowned idol Shaki has quit the Kuja pirates. Oh, you know how insane that is? You know how many DMs she's getting? I mean, this is crazy. You know how many people that were trying to hit that shit and didn't even get to meet her eye to eye? I mean, that's crazy. Like, people will go nuts. For real. Like, people would take their own lives for that shit. I mean, unfortunately, though, we see Gloriosa's reaction to all of these news. To Shaki quitting the pirates of Kuja. And what happened? Like, okay, I guess we skipped a couple of years. I just wish we had seen how Gloriosa joined up with the Rocks Pirates, because now she is with the Rocks Pirates and she's sitting there and talking with Big Mom. But Big Mom is like, yo, maybe Shaki quit also because of man, just like you, Gloriosa. I mean, does love always ruin the lives of women? That's coming from Big Mom. And I do not kid you, Gloriosa has the ultimate fan reaction. She's like, wait, yo, I'm hearing ho. Are you really trying to speak to me about love when you popping out kids like you popping out popcorn? Listen, Mr. Abramovich, those that you know, Mr. Abramovich, pay and don't speak.
Mr. Abramovich, pay and don't speak.
That's a Mourinho reference. You guys have no idea. But for real, like, Big Mom, she was a literal ho-ho. I mean, yeah, for real. Like, I think she slept with every single one of the Rocks Pirates. I mean, how the hell does she... I mean, how? Bro, how? Like, every year she is in the Rocks Pirates, she pops out a kid. Like, that's insane to me, isn't it? But then, yeah, surprisingly, to the residents of Hachinosu and to the entire One Piece fan base, Shaki decides to, well, I'm giving up being a pirate, so might as well go to the place where most criminals and pirates live. Hachinosu, yeah, let's go. I'm living there from now on. Yes, I'm letting all these simp over me so I can get everything I want. What a smart strategy. This girl, she's the inventor of only. No, I'm kidding. I mean, literally, these criminals, they have been longing to see this beauty for years. They've probably never ever seen anything like that. I mean, they all simp like crazy. They build her an entire bar. They do every request she says, and everybody does it for her gladly. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But I'm not kidding you guys. Like, this is ultimate simp behavior. I don't know what's up with Oda. These two past chapters is so many simps, like Roger and Gaban last chapter, and now freaking rocks, bro. I mean, could you ever imagine the first time we, like, really, the first time, what was it, chapter 1154, 1153? I mean, could you imagine this badass character walking like this, the narrator speaking over him all the time, eye to eye with Emo, everything like that? Could you imagine him being a total freaking simp, bro, over Shaki? I mean, bro, his heart came out of him. It's Sanji moment, bro, like 100%. And I'm kind of losing my voice. I'm going all over the place. This is crazy. Like, but not gonna lie, the one that shocked me the most, for real, was Whitebeard. Man, I literally thought he was cool as ice, like just like Rayleigh. But unfortunately, they got him as well. Like, she got him. These Kuja pirates, these nothing to mess around with, bro. I wonder how they're gonna cope with her being there. Yeah, and she didn't do this on a whim. Of course, she wanted to hide from the world government because they're always gonna portray her. They always go after her, even after she quit. They're like, oh, she's a former pirate. Bring her to custody. She's a dangerous criminal. Yeah, I know, I get the logic, but still, she quit being a pirate and she went to the place where the scummiest of pirates are. And they, like, the world government are never gonna, or are they? Are the world government gonna find out about Shaki being attached in Osu? Interesting. People are speculating that the entire God Valley incident happened because of Shaki. I don't think that's quite true though, because we know when every one of these pirate crews went to God Valley, there was a leak. A leak from who? From Ginny. We found that out last arc. Ginny made the leak about there being a treasure over at God Valley, and that's why these pirates went over there. And we saw no trace of Shaki in the midst of them. Maybe later on, in the next couple of chapters, I would assume that we see the full incident of God Valley and we get everything explained. Does Shaki have to do anything with the God Valley incident? I don't know. It seems kind of weird that she's the entire reason for the entire event of God Valley. But then again, right after that, we cut to Marizwa and the Gorosei are like, okay, no, we gotta deal with this now. We gotta deal with this immediately. Tell Harald, if he wants to join us, he's gonna have to kill his friend, Rox. I don't know if they know that they're pals. Probably not. Or maybe. But it's somehow weird timing. Like, Oda knows these things, and to put the panel of the Gorosei saying that right after all of the events that happened in the chapter, like at the last bit, right after Shaki meets Rox and the rest of the crew. Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not. We'll have to find out. This is really interesting. I really want you guys to let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about these two chapters. What do you think about the Kuja pirates? What do you think about GARP and Roger? What do you think about Rox tearing through holes in Hachinosu? What do you think about Rox booting Kaido? What do you think about Rox going up against the world government yet again? What do you think about Shiki? What do you think about everything that I talked about? I really want to know. So yeah, leave it in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, follow us over at the social media. We've been cooking there, and yeah, I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.